December 1972. More than 380,000 kilometers from Earth, a single astronaut stands on the silent surface of the Moon. Around him is nothing but gray dust, deep craters, and the endless darkness of space. He takes one final look across the landscape, turns around, and climbs back into his spacecraft. At that moment, he doesn't realize something extraordinary: he has just become the last human being to walk on the Moon. Only a few years earlier, landing on the Moon seemed impossible. For centuries, people had looked up at the Moon with wonder and imagination. Then, through science, determination, and courage, humanity achieved what once belonged only in science fiction. The Moon became more than a destination; it became a symbol of curiosity, innovation, and the incredible potential of human exploration.
We dock.
The Apollo 17 mission carried 3 remarkable explorers. Commander Eugene Cernan would become the last man to walk on the Moon. Command Module pilot Ronald Evans remained in lunar orbit, operating the command spacecraft. Lunar Module pilot Harrison Schmitt, the first professional geologist to visit the Moon, would help uncover valuable scientific discoveries. Together, these 3 men represented the very best of human ambition and teamwork. Behind Apollo 17 stood thousands of ordinary people doing extraordinary work. Engineers designed complex systems. Technicians assembled spacecraft components with incredible precision. Scientists solved problems that had never existed before. Mathematicians calculated every detail of the mission. Factory workers built the machines that would carry humans into deep space. The Moon mission was not the achievement of 3 astronauts alone; it was the achievement of an entire generation. The night of December 7, 1972, arrived at last. In Florida, the giant Saturn V rocket stood brightly illuminated against the dark sky. Families watched anxiously. Engineers monitored their instruments. Every second mattered. Then came the countdown. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. The engines ignited with incredible force. Flames and smoke erupted beneath the rocket as the ground shook. Slowly, humanity's most powerful rocket began carrying its crew toward the Moon. Life inside the spacecraft was surprisingly normal. The astronauts ate meals, checked their equipment, performed scientific experiments, and even shared jokes with one another. But outside their small windows lay something extraordinary: the endless darkness of space. They were traveling farther from Earth than almost anyone in human history. Hour after hour, Earth grew smaller. The blue planet that contained every nation, every ocean, every family, and every human story slowly transformed into a bright sphere floating in darkness. From this distance, Earth looked peaceful and fragile. The astronauts were seeing their home in a way few people ever have. After nearly 4 days of travel, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt separated from the command module and began descending toward the lunar surface inside their lunar module. Below them stretched a vast valley that had remained untouched for billions of years. Then, finally, came the words everyone was waiting to hear. "We're on the Moon." Humanity had returned to another world. As the astronauts stepped onto the Moon, they entered an environment unlike anything on Earth. There was no atmosphere, no wind, no rain, and no sound. Every movement had to be carefully controlled in the Moon's lower gravity. Their boots pressed into fine gray dust that had remained undisturbed for millions of years. Each footprint became a permanent mark on another world. Life on the Moon was demanding. Every minute was carefully planned. The astronauts collected rocks, set up scientific instruments, and drove the lunar rover across the valley. Their bulky spacesuits made even simple tasks difficult. Yet they worked with patience, precision, and determination because every sample and every observation could unlock new scientific knowledge. Apollo 17 became one of the most scientifically productive Moon missions ever conducted. The astronauts returned with hundreds of kilograms of lunar rocks and soil samples. Scientists would study these materials for decades. They revealed secrets about volcanic activity, the moon's formation, and even provided clues about the early history of Earth itself. The mission wasn't just about reaching the moon, it was about understanding our place in the universe. During quiet moments, the astronauts looked back toward Earth. From the moon, no borders were visible. There were no countries and no divisions. There was only one small, beautiful blue planet floating in the darkness of space. It was the home of everyone they had ever known. And from this distance, humanity appeared united. Eventually, the mission came to an end. Eugene Cernan climbed the ladder of the lunar module. Before entering, he paused and looked across the ancient landscape one final time. He could not know it then, but these would become the last human footprints on the moon. A chapter in human exploration was quietly coming to a close. The astronauts departed the moon and safely returned to Earth. Around the world, they were welcomed as heroes. Their mission had been a tremendous success. Yet few people realized something historic had just happened. Apollo 17 would become the final moon landing mission of the Apollo era. No human being has walked on the moon since December 1972. Why did humanity stop going to the moon? The answer is complicated. Moon missions were incredibly expensive. Political priorities changed. Governments turned their attention toward other challenges and new scientific goals. Space agencies began focusing on space stations and robotic exploration. The moon became silent once again, waiting patiently for humanity's return. More than half a century has passed since the final footsteps echoed across the lunar dust. Yet those footprints remain exactly where they were left, preserved perfectly in a world without wind or rain. The story of Apollo 17 is not only about the last man to walk on the moon. It is the story of thousands of scientists, engineers, technicians, factory workers, and explorers who shared one extraordinary dream. Their achievement reminds us that when humanity works together, even the impossible can become reality. And perhaps one day, new footprints will join the old ones, and the moon will once again welcome human footsteps.